Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. 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 Krishna is making all the arrangements for everyone since time immemorial, satisfying everyone's desires. So you have to be careful what you ask for, because you'll get it. You might have to allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery, but it comes, your desires. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Like, I really wanted some loquat trees here. They grow very nicely in Florida, and there's nice little fruits on the trees. And they're evergreen, so they have their leaves all winter. And so a friend offered to give me some small little trees. That had grown up all by themselves at the foot of their big tree. Evidently the fruits had fallen, some of the fruits, and the leaves, the seeds that sprouted made little baby trees. So I came and I took some, but they didn't take. I was so disappointed. It just didn't happen. So how am I going to get loquat trees? How am I going to get loquat trees? So people here, when they're cleaning up their yards, they rake up all the leaves and they put them in these big brown bags and put them on the side of the curb, and the city comes and takes the bags. So I have use for those leaves, so heck with the city. I go and I collect those big brown bags with all the leaves in it, and they use it as mulch around the trees and the bushes. Like I put down a little cardboard first, and then I put the leaves on top. It works very nicely, at least for 3-4 months, until you have to do something again. But, so I had all these leaves, and I was putting them all around the trees. And evidently, some of those bags of leaves that the people had cleaned their yard up with were filled with loquat seeds. So I now have, I could go into the nursery business just selling loquats trees. There are so many of them sprouting up everywhere from those bags filled with leaves, which is nice. Now you got like a whole loquat grove over on the side of the house. But I'm noticing that with just about everything, really. So you just depend on Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa can supply everything to anyone. There's no shortage. He's controlling and creating and manifesting everything. And if the devotee wants something for serving Kṛṣṇa, then Kṛṣṇa supplies. It's not a big deal. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Amazing. It's totally amazing. Hare Krishna, because we're so accustomed in our conditioned state to have to work for everything. If we want something, depending on what mode we're in, we'll connive for it, plot and scheme for it, or steal it. But if you can get to the transcendental platform, all you have to do is desire, and Kṛṣṇa supplies it. You don't have to connive, you don't have to sweat, you don't have to... Kṛṣṇa supplies it. If you're going to use it in his service nicely, it's not going to take you away from Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It's something or some arrangement, and Kṛṣṇa supplies. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. And it really is a magic mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. You just have to be careful what you desire. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There's another instance of that recently is I have these little day beds that I use in the main room, like a little couch. And if somebody were going to stay over, it's a bed, but it's a day bed. So it looks like a couch during the day. It's not a futon. It looks like a couch during the day, but at night, if you need it for a guest or something. So I got a good price on a few of them, and I just went ahead and I got one, and that's what I was sleeping on. But I wasn't comfortable. I guess for like overnight or a couple days, it wouldn't be bad. But I have a little bit of, I'm older now, I have a little bit of a back problem anyway. So it's been very uncomfortable. I'm trying to find, it's like, it's time to take rest, and I go, okay, time for the torture session. It's like, it's impossible to get comfortable. I've tried so many things, so I just, get rest as best I can, and in the morning try to undo the pretzel, But, so I've been thinking, well, this isn't practical, it's not working. I need some other way to lie down horizontal and be able to rest and not be in pain. And I was like, what should I do? Like, should I get a hospital bed? They're very expensive, but you can maneuver them into different positions. What should I do? I don't want to spend a lot of money because, for number one, I don't have a lot of money. I have to be very, very careful, parceling out what I do for what, to be able to live this way. And I'm like, So this has been going on for quite a while, and so the desire is for a comfortable bed. Not because I want to sense grab, but because I want to be able to sleep, So here's what happened. Walmart was offering to send me some free items if I would write a review. I can see it's a advertising campaign, because people read these reviews. So they would send you a free item if you would write a review. It's part of their advertising. I said, yeah, sure, let's see what you got. Send me something. I can use it. So one of the things was an airbed. It's like for guests. If you're going to have guests coming, you don't have enough beds for everybody, then you put out this airbed, and they can sleep on that. So I've seen airbeds before and air mattresses. They're not very impressive. But this one, oh my, it's really well made. It's like, okay, thank you. Problem solved. I just used that airbed. And it's like, wow. It's a really, really nice product. It's very well made. Inflates in like a minute and a half. and deflates in a minute and a half if you have to deflate it. And it should last a little while at least. So that's another, another indication to me that Krishna is listening. If I need something, practical like that, then he's supplying. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I tell you, this thing is so comfortable. Oh my goodness. Now the problem is getting up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I haven't had a formal altar in a very long time. I'm just chanting Hare Krishna because it wasn't getting any indication of what the altar should look like. Should it look like a standard temple altar? No, I'm not in that mood now of it's a more spontaneous mood, and that mood is a little too formal. This is my house. I live here, and so what is my altar like? I don't know. I haven't had a clear indication for years, really. I'm just chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, and now I'm getting some indication what the focus of meditation, the form is. To meditate, for me personally, Krishna, to meditate. And so I've been making the altar now for the last few days. And it's really, I've never seen one like this. I've never seen an altar like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It makes sense to me. It's kind of being revealed what the forms on the altar are. But I take a little picture of it, but it's not ready yet. I'm going to finish it up today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I like it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. Oh, it's super simple. Super simple. Super simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Everything's there. Everything. In this super simple altar. Super simple. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Okay, there's a song here that has been just floating around. You know how sometimes you'll get a tune and it won't go away? So I was going to, it's only 4 verses. It's one of Bhakti Vinod Thakur's songs. And it's a song to Gurudev. And ultimately Gurudev, interruption. There's no way I can turn that off. I've tried. Honey, you just have to wait till it goes away. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna. You know, they have these drones now, these little airplanes that people have had model airplanes for a long time, but now they've figured out how to equip them with cameras, video cameras, and they can go, you know, I know a devotee who has one, and he can go for a mile all around. He's just standing there and he can video everything that's going on. And I had to laugh because he was showing how it works. And we were at another devotee's house, and it was a neighborhood. And this thing is flying over, looking at what everybody's going on in everyone's backyard. And I was thinking, boy, what an invasion of privacy. That's such an invasion of privacy. What if somebody, what if they're like sunbathing nude or something in their own backyard, you know, with a fence around, and they're sunbathing nude. People do that. And here comes the drone. It's a total invasion of privacy. So these phone calls, you know, they're computer generated, and they're trying to either scam you or sell you something, or they want a donation for something, which is probably a scam. And it's an invasion of privacy. It's like having people knock on your door all day, only it's the telephone ringing. And I can't figure out how to turn that off, that sound. I don't use that phone. That's just like an emergency phone. I don't even use it, but I need it. It's like an emergency phone. So I just have to listen to that like 10, 20 times a day, this invasion of privacy on the phone. I've got a do not call list, but it's already filled. And the phone company offers a spam filter, but that only tells you that it's spam, and you have to get up and do something. It won't automatically block it. So it's just really very, very annoying. It's just another Kali Yuga thing. Anyway, the song. Now, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he's singing Guru Dev. And which Guru Dev is he singing to? Who is his guru? Is he singing to? Who is he singing to when he sings Guru? We know ultimately Kṛṣṇa and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's singing to Guru Dev, and he has this meditation on his Guru Dev. Who is that Guru Dev? I don't know. I'll have to take a look later. There are several songs to the Guru. So what Guru is he? Who is he singing to? Hare Krishna. Anyway, he's singing to his Guru. One thing is for sure, a Vaishnava, devotee, spiritualist, is essential to have a guru. What kind of a guru someone takes shelter of depends on their consciousness, what resonates with them. But there has to be a guru. There has to be a guru. It has to be a connection to Kṛṣṇa. We don't go to Kṛṣṇa directly because that's not Krishna's arrangement. So we have to have the guru. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing to his guru. And here's what he's singing in his trance of meditation. Guru Dev, Kripa Bindu Diya, Koroe Dase, Trinapekai Atihina. Sakala sahane bolo diakoro nijamane spriya hina. Translation. Gurudev, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I'm lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. Sakala saman karite sakati dehonata jata jata. Tabito gaibo harinama suke aparada habe hata. I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. Kabihe no kaba lobiya jana kritata hoy benata. Shakti bunihin amyatidin koromore atma sata. When will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. Yogya cha vichare kichunahi pai tomara karuna sara. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prananara kiboara. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is the great, great, great grandfather. Great, great, great grandfather. No, wait a minute. He's the great, great grandfather. Great, great grandfather. Hare Krishna. So, Krishna, we can sing that similar song to our spiritual master. And my spiritual master is, I'm a poor excuse for a disciple, but my spiritual master is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, I can sing that same song to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. And this is Prabhupada's summary study of the 10th canto, the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the manner of pastimes and personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, as he appeared 5,000 years ago. So here, Krishna, who is now in the city, has left the village, Mathura, he's in Mathura, and he's taking up the duties of the royal order, has sent his cousin, Uddhava, with a message for his village friends. He spent his childhood in the village. And they're missing him, and he's missing them. And so he sent his cousin, Uddhava, with a message. So he's enlightening them one of his ways of enlightening them was to, in the message, explain that he's never separated from them because he's all-pervading, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's the Transcendental Lord. And so they can never be separated from him at any time, just based on that alone. No one can be separated from Kṛṣṇa at any time based on that alone. But the consciousness can be such that we forget Kṛṣṇa, or, in the case of the Gopīs, we feel separation from Kṛṣṇa. So the Gopīs are responding to the message. And here's what they're saying to Uddhava. Another Gopī inquired, does he remember that night in the midst of the Kumadini flowers in the moonlight, when Vrindavan became exceedingly beautiful? Kṛṣṇa was dancing with us, and the atmosphere was surcharged with the sound of footbells. We exchanged pleasing conversation then. Does he remember that particular night? We remember that night, and we feel separation. Separation from Kṛṣṇa makes us agitated, as if there were fire in our bodies. He proposed to come back to Vrindavan to extinguish the fire, just as a cloud appears in the sky to extinguish the forest fire by its downpour. Another Gopī said, Kṛṣṇa has killed his enemy, and he has victoriously achieved the kingdom of Kamsa. Maybe he's married with a king's daughter by this time, and living very happily among his kinsmen and friends. Therefore, why should he come to this village of Vrindavan? Another Gopī said, Kṛṣṇa is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the husband of the Goddess of Fortune, and he is self-sufficient. He has no business either with us, the girls in the Vrindavan forest, or with the city girls in Mathura. He is the great Supersoul. He has nothing to do with any of us, either here or there. Another Gopī said, it is an unreasonable hope for us to expect Kṛṣṇa to come back to Vrindavan. We should try instead to be happy in disappointment. Even Pingala, the great prostitute, said that disappointment is the greatest pleasure. We all know these things, but it is very, very difficult for us to give up the expectation of Kṛṣṇa's coming back again. Who can forget a solitary conversation with Kṛṣṇa, on whose breast the Goddess of Fortune always remains, in spite of Kṛṣṇa's not desiring her? My dear Uddhava, Vrindavan is the land of rivers, forests, and cows. Here the vibration of the flute is heard, and Kṛṣṇa, along with his elder brother Sri Balaram, enjoyed the atmosphere in our company. Thus, the environment of Vrindavan is constantly reminding us of Kṛṣṇa and Balaram. The impression of his footprints is on the land of Vrindavan, which is the residential place of the Goddess of Fortune, but such signs cannot help us to get Kṛṣṇa. We're constantly remembering various attractive features of beautiful Kṛṣṇa, his walking, his smiling, his joking words. We have all become lost by the dealings of Kṛṣṇa, and it is impossible for us to forget him. We're always praying for him, exclaiming, Dear Lord, dear husband of the Goddess of Fortune, dear Lord of Vrindavan, and deliverer of the distressed devotees. We are now fallen and merged into an ocean of distress. Please, therefore, come back again to Vrindavan and deliver us from this pitiable condition. Uddhava minutely studied the transcendental, abnormal condition of the Gopīs in their separation from Kṛṣṇa, and he thought it wise to repeat all the pastimes of Sri Kṛṣṇa over and over again. Materialistic persons are always in a burning condition on account of the blazing fire of material miseries. The Gopīs also were burning in a transcendental blazing fire due to separation from Kṛṣṇa. The blazing fire, which was exasperating the Gopīs, however, is different from the fire of the material world. The Gopis constantly want the association of Kṛṣṇa, whereas the materialistic person wants the advantage of material comforts. It is stated by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Kṛṣṇa saved the cowherd boys from the blazing forest fire within a second, while their eyes were closed. Similarly, Uddhava advised the Gopis that they could be saved from the fire of separation by closing their eyes and meditating on the activities of Kṛṣṇa from the very beginning of their association with him. From the outside, the Gopis could visualize all the pastimes of Kṛṣṇa by hearing the descriptions of Uddhava, and from inside, they could remember those pastimes. From the instruction of Uddhava, the Gopis could understand that Kṛṣṇa was not separate from them. As they were constantly thinking of Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa was also thinking of them constantly while at Mathura. Uddhava's messages and instructions saved the Gopis from immediate death, and the Gopis acknowledged the benediction from Uddhava. Uddhava practically acted as the preceptor, spiritual master of the Gopis, and they in turn worshipped him as they would worship Kṛṣṇa. It is recommended in authoritative scriptures that the spiritual master should be worshipped on the level of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of his being his very confidential servitor, and it is accepted by great authorities that the spiritual master is the external manifestation of Kṛṣṇa. The Gopis were relieved from their transcendental burning condition by realizing that Kṛṣṇa was with them. Internally, they remembered his association within their hearts, and externally, Uddhava helped them to appreciate Kṛṣṇa by conclusive instructions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in the scriptures as Adhokshaja, which indicates that he is beyond the perception of all material senses. Although he is beyond the perception of material senses, he is present in everyone's heart. At the same time, he is present everywhere by his all-pervasive feature, Brahman. All three transcendental features of the Absolute Truth: Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead; Paramatma, the localized Supersoul; and the all-pervasive Brahman, can be realized simply by studying the condition of the Gopis in their meeting with Uddhava as described by the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said by Srinivasacharya that the 6 Goswamis were always merged in thoughts of the activities of the Gopis. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also recommended the Gopis' method of worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as super excellent. Srila Shukadev Goswami has also recommended that anyone who hears from the right source about the dealings of the Gopis with Kṛṣṇa and who follows the instructions will be elevated to the topmost position of devotional service and will be able to give up the lust of material enjoyment. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So basically, the Gopis' method was to hear from spiritual master. They accepted Uddhava as a representative of Kṛṣṇa, to hear about Kṛṣṇa from the spiritual master, and then to within meditate themselves. So we have hearing and chanting. We're not so good at meditating. So we hear and then we chant. We hear and we chant. We hear and we chant. Hearing and chanting. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Hare Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa Kṛṣṇa, Hare Hare. Because here, Lord Chaitanya hasn't appeared yet. This is 5,000 years ago. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago to help us with that internal meditation by giving us the holy name, infused with all his spiritual potencies. Hare Krishna. So that method of worship, hearing and chanting, hearing and meditating, is the highest worship. They were always absorbed in that, in the mood of separation, although they were never separated. Hare Krishna. All the gopis were solaced by the instruction of Uddhava, and they requested him to stay in Vrindavan for a few days more. Uddhava agreed to their proposal and stayed with them not only for a few days, but for a few months. He always kept them engaged in thinking of the transcendental message of Kṛṣṇa and his pastimes, and the gopis were feeling as if they were experiencing direct association with Kṛṣṇa. While Uddhava remained in Vrindavan, the inhabitants enjoyed his association. As they discussed the activities of Kṛṣṇa, the days passed just like moments. Vrindavan's natural atmosphere, with the presence of the river Yamuna, its nice orchards of trees decorated with various fruits, Govardhan Hill, caves, blooming flowers, all combined to inspire Uddhava to narrate Krishna's pastimes. The inhabitants enjoyed Uddhava's association in the same way as they enjoyed the association of Kṛṣṇa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay. Krishna consciousness. Krishna. Chaitanya. Gurudev. See, the gopis, they had a Gurudev. Uddhava was the guru, the preceptor guru. Is that the initiating guru, the preceptor? I mean the instructing guru. Yeah, preceptor, the instructing guru. They had Kṛṣṇa, but then they also had the instructing guru. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, representative of Kṛṣṇa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Method of the Gopīs. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.